All right, welcome back, everyone. There was a delay because the main system was getting updated, and I had to start the session from a different setup, and I was waiting for it to be back. Okay. Thank you for your cooperation for the 5-10 minutes. I would like to start the journey today. As we have discussed in the last class, today we are going to start with one more important topic, which is on the static keyword. Very, very important discussion. Static keyword. Have you come across with the static keyword so far, whatever we have discussed? Have you seen somewhere static keyword? Yes, we do have seen it. Public static main in the main method. Great, great. Now let's understand this journey, okay, on the static keyword. My dear friends, so far you didn't know, but from now you will be knowing it that if there is a Java class, any Java class you take, any Java class if you come across, in that Java class, we can have, please see very carefully, a variables. Yes, we can have a variables, no problem, but those variables can be static. We can have an initialization block. Those blocks can be static. We can have a methods. Those methods can be static. We can have a non-static variables. Non-static variables. Variables. Non-static variable, I am referring to instance variable. Whatever we have discussed so far, instance variable. We can also have non-static block. We also call it as Java initialization block. Non-static block. Or we can call it as Java initialization block. We can also have constructor. We can also have constructor. And we can also have a non-static method. Non-static method. That is normal method. These many things in a class we can have. So far, we have seen about the instance variable. We have seen about the constructor. We have seen about the normal method. Non-static method means a method where static keyword is not used. Apart from this, we can have these many things. Making sense, everyone? All of you? Great, great, great. Now, whenever we have a static, whenever we have a static variables, that static variable inside the static block you can access. You can use it. If you declare a variable with static keyword, that variable you can use inside static block. Static method also you can use. Non-static block also you can use. Inside a constructor also you can use. Inside non-static method also you can use. If there are instance variable, inside non-static block, normal Java block you can use. Constructor, we have already used it. Non-static normal method, we have already used it. However, inside static block, you cannot use instance variable. Inside static method, you cannot use instance variable. Why? What is that case? We need to understand this very, very well. There is something called as object dependent, object independent. What I'm trying to say, I would be guiding you. But maximum focus is needed from every one of you. Are you all there with me? Yes, no, maybe? Everyone? Great. Wonderful from all of you. For which, understand a brief overview about JVM. All in class are aware JVM, Java Virtual Machine. Everyone in the class? Yep. Whenever we write a Java code, I will write one Java code. I will save here. Maybe I'll give the name as demo or whatever it is. I'll say telesco.java. It is .java file. The next step involves here is Java compiler. Java compiler will convert this Java code into .class file. I will say here telesco.class. .class contains what type of code inside that, dear friends? Byte codes. That will be given to JVM. JVM will convert that into zeros and ones and take care of all the execution. Now, JVM comes at the runtime. JVM, will it look for the syntax of Java, whether you have followed proper syntax, semicolon have you used, if you've opened the curly brackets, have you closed the curly brackets, are you starting with small c for class? All this is taken care by Java compiler, rules and regulations. JVM will just take care of the runtime execution. JVM will be handed over the byte codes. Now, JVM will execute this code inside one environment. JVM is present inside one region on the RAM. We have discussed this briefly earlier also. What is the name of the region, dear friends? JRE. Inside JRE, we have JVM. So JRE is like a battlefield. JVM is like commander who will execute the battle inside this field. This JRE is there on the RAM. It is temporary. When it is executing, your program is getting executing, what JVM will do. Now, JVM is the one who will execute your Java program within JRE. Is this tick mark, dear friends? Now, JVM will make use of what? Behind the scene, what happens? You understood briefly about heap area. You have understood briefly about stack area, runtime stack area, memory management, stack calls, deallocations of the stack calls, and also the heap area instance in the heap area. You have understood. Furthermore, you need to understand, you should have a brief picture more here. Great. Now, .class files will be given to JVM. JVM is the one who have to execute it. All of you are with me? Yes, dear friends. Everyone? This is the JVM. JVM, in order to execute your Java code, internally makes use of many components so that your Java program gets executed. Fine. Now, three main things are there in the JVM. Number one, we have something called as class loader subsystem. Class loader subsystem. Number two, we have JVM runtime data areas. Runtime data areas. Later, we have something called as execution engine. Execution engine. Before I talk little more, briefly, if I have to talk, JVM, in order to execute, three things internally it will make use. Class loader subsystem, wherein JVM will load your Java code in its in its ecosystem to execute it. Loading of the code into JVM's ecosystem will happen here. Runtime data areas. JVM will make use of some areas. In order to execute your code, JVM will keep the things in different areas, your code. If there is a method call on the stack area, if there is an object on the heap area, if there is a instance variable inside the heap, object, then you have to give the memory in the heap area. All these areas, data your code, when it is getting executed, it will make use of some areas to keep them, bifurcate them and keep it ready. Then using the execution engine, that code will be converted to zeros and ones and will be executed. At the end of the day one of the class, you have understood. Memory understands, your RAM, your most important processor understands zeros and ones. So inside the execution engine, there are some components. JVM will use that to convert your code into zeros and ones. Great. Now what happens here? During the class loading subsystem, everyone, you have to understand this. During the class loading subsystem, three things happens. What are those three things, if you ask me? Number one, loading. Number two, linking. Number three, initialization. Number three, initialization. When it comes to loading, there are different types of loader. Bootstrap loader, execution class loader, application loader. Bootstrap loader. Bootstrap loader. Execution loader. Okay. Execution. All of them are class loaders, guys. Loader means they have class also. Execution class loader. They are all class loaders. Application class loader. When it comes to linking, verification, preparation, preparation stage, and resolution stage. When it comes to initialization, it is only initialization. What happens here? Please understand this. At least you should have a picture. Everyone. All of them are part of class loader subsystem. That means these things are happening when your class is getting loaded into JVM's ecosystem. What are the things happening? During the loading, your entire Java code, whatever you have written, that will be loaded into JVM's ecosystem. During the loading, how it will load is, first, if there are anything which you are using, predefined things from the rt.jar file, in the sense, whatever predefined Java code is there, which Java team has coded in order to help you, all those things will be loaded into JVM's ecosystem. All the code which is there, which you have not done it, then whatever code you have written, that will also get loaded. So during the loading stage of class loader subsystem, whatever code is there, that will just get loaded into JVM's ecosystem. After which, in the linking stage, whatever code is there, verification will happen. Whether all these bytecodes are there in the proper format or not. Whether for a proper instance, proper reference is referring or not. That will be resolved. If it is not referring, that resolution, verification, is it a proper bytecode? Is there any security glitch? Everything is fine. It's a Java code, same code which I have loaded. All of these things will happen in the linking. In the linking stage, one important thing comes into picture. Within the linking, during the preparation stage, if JVM come across any static, if JVM come across any static variable, for that static variable, On the heap area, memory will be allocated. On the heap area, memory will be allocated. During preparation stage of linking is a part of class loader subsystem. Now interview question comes into picture. When does memory for static variable gets allocated? During what time? When does memory for static variable? During, you can say, if you don't want to say linking preparation stage, at least say during the class loading. By the class, during the class loader subsystem execution. Class loading time. Because all of them are part of class loading. So on which area? On which area? Heap area. Getting it, my dear friends? And during the initialization, if there is any static initialization block or static block present, how it will look like, what will happen, whatever I'm telling with code also I will show you. Today and tomorrow's code fully with memory we will understand. During the initialization set, if there is any static block, that block also gets executed. Now, my dear friends, to initialize the memory for static variable and to execute static block, as a developer, do you need to make some extra call or do you need to write some extra code? Not needed. During the class loading time, JVM will allocate the memory for static variables. And if there is any static initialization block, JVM will execute that also during the class loading itself. Is that tick mark to everyone? Yes, no, maybe. Apart from that, JVM will make use of these runtime areas once the code is loaded in order to allocate them into different, it's bifurcation. Entire code will be kept here in the method area. First of all, it will be kept here. Whenever there is a method call, constructor call, or any of the block call, in order to execute, there will be stack frames getting created on the stack area. Once that execution is over, stack frame deleted. So on your stack area, if anything and everything has to execute, they have to be loaded onto the stack area. Why? In the multi-threading concept, you will understand why stack area in the multi-threading concept. But for now, if there is any method call, if you could able to recall the concept of methods which we have discussed, whenever you call a method, in order to execute that method's stack frame will be created on the stack area. If there is a constructor, in order to execute, that stack frame will be created on the stack area. If there is a loop, that stack frame will be created. Everything has to be created here for every block. Fine now? All of you? Whenever you create an instance, if there is any method call, if there is a reference variable, local variable, memories also within the stack frames will get created. Whenever you create an instance or an object, memory will be on the heap area. Like this, we have something called as PC register. PC register duty is to keep address of every instruction which is getting executed. JVM will internally maintain the address of every instruction which is getting executed for all the threads of your program. How much ever threads you're running. What do you mean by threads? I have not yet discussed. For now, just understand for every instruction there will be address. Method area will keep all the code. After loading the code, it will kept in the method area. From the method area, there is a method call on the stack area. If there is an object on the heap area, PC register will maintain the address of every object. And we have something called as native method stack. That means if you use any of the code in your Java program which is coded by some other language, maybe you're using some of the library which is coded in C++, non-Java code. To allocate memory for that, we have something called as native method stack. Fine, huh? All of you. So these are the runtime areas which JVM will use in order to, after loading the code, it will bifurcate and keep in the place. And then by making use of execution engine, it will execute the entire code. It will make use of the execution engine and it will execute the entire code. So within the execution engine, We have important parts here also. Before I go for summary, number one, which plays very vital role, it is interpreter. Interpreter. Then we have something called as just-in-time compiler. Just-in-time compiler. And we have something called as garbage collector. Garbage collector. Usually, JVM will make use of interpreter to convert your code into zeros and ones. Interpreter is also a software like compiler which will convert your code into zeros and ones. Difference is compiler will compile the entire code at once. Interpreter will do it line by line. For an instance, suppose in Bangalore, some North Indian politician visits. They cannot talk Kannada, which we have here. They will talk in their Hindi language. They will speak in Hindi to the public. Lakhs of people will gather. If they talk in Hindi continuously, can we understand in Karnataka? Especially in Bangalore region, okay, we can manage because we have many one who are from different regions. In Bangalore, people can understand Hindi. But all over Karnataka, rural side, we don't understand Hindi very often. It's the Kannada language which we speak here. Now, if they talk in Hindi, we cannot understand. For which we will hire some translator. Is it like if suppose some politician visits, if they talk for 30 minutes, continuously 30 minutes in Hindi, then the translator will continuously converting that in Kannada at a time. So if that is the case, it is compiler. Converting everything into zeros and ones at once. Interpreter will do it line by line. Maybe the politician speaking one line in Hindi, then the translator will convert that in Kannada in one line. Then again one more line. One line again the conversion will happen. Interpreter means conversion of your code into zeros and ones line by line, instruction by instruction. Fine. Ankita, as I have discussed, it is for the libraries or code which is non-Java, which is you are using maybe in your Java code, which is coded in C++ language or C language. To allocate memory for such things during the execution, JVM will make use of Java native stack, and to execute that, JVM will make use of JNI. Java native interface or native method interface. Different names we added. Native interface. To convert that into zeros and ones. Great. Now guys, interpreter will be used to convert your Java code into zeros and ones, and processor will understand zeros and ones. Zeros and ones will be given to it. And what is the use of garbage collector there? What is the use of garbage collector, dear friends? Garbage collector, if there is a referenceless object, garbage collector will collect the data. Tick mark to everyone. A referenceless object. And I'm not telling one word. We have discussed this already, so only I'm avoiding it. Just-in-time compiler will not be used. It will use whenever any frequent call is there. Interpreter, you all know, will convert the code into zeros and ones in line by line format. One instruction at a time. What if there is a loop? Loop is executing 100 times. So one time you're calling, again same thing is converted to zeros and ones. Same line converted to zeros and ones. Same line converted to zeros and ones. Same line converted to zeros and ones. It is like fooling your interpreter. The performance issue will come into picture. Such frequent calls, just-in-time compiler will come into picture. At a time, it will convert that entire thing into zeros and ones in one go. Just-in-time compiler will not be executed every time. It is there to support interpreter. Whenever there is any frequent call method, instead of making use of interpreter, which will do again and again, line by line, zeros and ones, line by line, zeros and ones, just-in-time compiler will come into picture. It will execute that particular code, everything into zeros and ones in one place, and it will go back. And usually interpreter is used to convert your code into zeros and ones, line by line, statement by statement. Now there will be a question here. Is Java interpreted programming language or compiled programming language? What is your answer in that? Is Java interpreted programming language or compiled programming language? What is your guess on that at least? It is also interview asked question. Java is both interpreted and compiled programming language. Java code will be first compiled by Java compiler into bytecodes .class files, and then JVM will internally make use of interpreter to convert your bytecodes into zeros and ones. Hence, Java is both compiled and interpreted programming language. Is that clear to everyone? Yes, no, maybe. Now, dear friends, I'll ask some questions. Please answer to me. During the class loader subsystem, your entire Java code will be loaded into JVM's ecosystem for the execution purpose. Point number one, tick mark. During the same class loading time, during the linking of preparation stage, if there are any static variables available in your Java code, memory for those static variables will be allocated. Tick mark. And during the class loading subsystem only, there is an initialization stage wherein if there is any static initialization block present in your code, that present code also would be executed. With that, I'll come to conclusion. For static block memory allocation, Java developer need not to do something extra. The moment class gets loaded into JVM's ecosystem, it will be allocated the memory on your heap area. Correct? And to execute the static block, we need not to do anything. During the class loading only, static block also gets executed. Correct? During the class loading only, static block gets executed. Fine. Then the remaining part remains same only. It will, entire code will be kept here. If there is a method call, that will be given on the stack area. If there is an object, memory on the heap area. PC register will maintain the address of every instruction, and native method will come into picture whenever there is a non-Java code present in your Java application. And execution engine, JVM, will make use of interpreter to convert your code into zeros and ones. Whenever there is a frequent ask question, just to enhance the execution speed, just-in-time compiler comes into picture. Then we have a garbage collector. The garbage collector will be using to collect or deallocate the memory from the heap area whenever there is an instance which is a referenceless. Is that clear to everyone? Do you have a brief idea about this JVM, guys? All of you present in the class? Yes, no, maybe? Huh. Of course, you may have to, Suresh. Now, one by one with the code, we will try to understand. Let's understand, get into the code, dear friends. Let's understand by writing a code. Okay. I will go back. Let me close all these files. Okay. Which we had discussed so far in our applications. Okay. I'll go back here. I will create a new folder here. I will create a new folder, a new project. I'll give the name of the project as a static keyword. Static is the name I've given. I will say finish. I will say don't create any modules. Project is ready. I'll go back to the source, right click. I will say here, I'll give the class name as launch static one. All right, understand this. The most important, if you have understood this, half of your job is over. Remaining things we will understand on the application. Why part we will understand. Why we have this. What is the advantage of each of them. That we'll understand with the code. But control flow in the first example you have to understand. Second example onwards, why part we will understand. Is that clear? All of you? Any example you can take of your own choice. Let me give random class demo only. Okay, we have some demo class. Inside this demo class, kindly understand. I will write down static integer type of A, integer type of A, static, integer type of B. Instead of this, my dear friends, can I write like this also? If the data type is same, can I write like this also? Yes, no, maybe. No issues. Now we have variables which are static. Similar to this, I will write few more variables, integer type x comma y comma z. Totally, how many variables are present inside a class demo right now? 6. 3 of them are static variable. 3 of them are instance variable. My dear friends, instance means what? Instance means what? Object. So instance variable means memory inside the object on the heap area it will be allocated. Agree? For static variable, according to me, where the memory is allocated? For static variables, according to me, on the heap area. I have told you during the class loaded subsystem on your heap area. Great. Wonderful answers. But why we will not call them instance variable? We call them non-instance variables or static variables or class variables. Class variables, static variables, non-instance variable. All of them are same. You need to understand this really well in the interview, not just interview as a developer, you need to understand this. I will say here static. I will write one block. A block with just one keyword called as static is called as static initialization block, static block. Anything is fine. I will say here system.out.println. Maybe I'll say here static initialization block. What is the use? Usually we use this to initialize the static variables. For any other purpose also you can write it. Okay. Now I will say A equals to 10, B equals to 20, C equals to 30. Wonderful. After which I will go back and write down one method. I will say here static void display. Static void display. Very carefully, dear friends. Here, what I'm going to do here is I will say here system.out.println. System.out.println. A. System.out.println B. System.out.println C. I will just, for the readability purpose, I will concatenate this with A. Value of A. Similarly, I will concatenate for the readability purpose. Okay. B. All right. B value. And for the readability purpose, you know, right, guys? If I give something within the double quotes, that will be printed as it is. And if I just give the variable, that will be printed whatever data is there inside that. Dear friends, first question to everyone, ABC is a static variable, agree. Am I able to use ABC inside a static block? That means static variables can be accessed inside the static block. Can I access inside the static method? Yes, I can access it. Okay, great. Let me do one thing here. I will not even write these variables. Let me just show you first the static initialization. Okay, how the static things are getting executed. So that next example immediately I will show you. I will do one thing here. I will say class name is demo, right? Demo.display. Demo is the name of the class. Am I invoking which method? Display method. More on the static method I will talk. Right now, one point to understand. If a method, if you use static keyword, to invoke that method, object is not needed. With the class name, you can call it. Class name demo dot go inside that class, call this method. I have told. Great. Dear friends, in the entire program, anywhere did I create object? Anywhere did I create object? Is there any object creation which you can see here? No, you cannot see it. I will go here, right click, run as Java application. Guys, are you getting it? Static initialization block. And when I printing, you're getting the result also. For this initialization, I have done inside the static block. That means this is also getting executed. This is also getting executed. Tell me one thing, guys. Whenever we create a class, object creation is must. That is what I have told. That is what we have understood. Correct? Right now, anywhere in my code, did we create object? Did we create object? Understanding every one of you. Yes, no, maybe. So now tell me, guys, static components of a class, are they object dependent? Are they object independent? Where object is only not getting created here. Object creation only not coming into picture. They are object independent. Object independent. Object. If whatever you are typing, if that is really your understanding, if you are not acting that you have understood, if you are true to yourself, you will answer this without me explaining. I will create int x comma y comma z. If you have really understood me, so far all the concepts if you have understood, I want you to answer it. X, Y, Z, can I use inside the static block and static method? Why? Why? Can anyone answer me why? Why is important? Answer me one question, dear friends. Answer me one question. These are instance variable. For them, memory will be allocated when we create object. Yes or no? Memory will be created when we create object. That means right now, if I don't create object of demo, is there any life for XYZ? Is there any life? Is there any life for XYZ? No life. Now tell me, guys, whatever static block is there, static method is there, are they object dependent? Object dependent? No. That means even if you don't create object, even if you don't instantiate your class, can they be executed? Can they be executed? Yes, they can be. However, X, Y, Z, they are object dependent. They don't have, they will get life. What is the difference between static block and static method? I will tell you. Jyoti, Aditya, I will tell you. If I am telling A for apple, don't ask me what is Z for zebra. The moment I say this is the end of static, I am pretty sure none of you will have 0.0% doubt also. It's my promise to all of you. That too not very far, tomorrow only. Today and tomorrow's class, at the end, all of you will have zero doubt on the entire static concept and the memory allocation part. Fine now? Right now, I'm asking what is the significance? We'll see. We have to code and understand why we have this, why we have this, everything we will see. Point, guys, I will ask you, you should answer me all those questions at the end of the lecture. Object we will have default. For that also default values will be there, Aditya. For that also default values will be allocated on the heap area. I will come to memory part. I will come to memory part. Just answer me this, my dear friends. To invoke this method to execute static block, object creation is needed or not needed? Not needed. All of you agree on this? Now, guys, in that context, can I use these variables inside the static elements? So in the interview, they will ask, which most of the freshers will not answer this. Why can't we use instance variable in static block and static method? But will you guys able to answer it? All of you? Yes, no, maybe? Great. Let me go ahead. Let me go ahead here further. Guys, what did I say? What is the starting point of Java program? What is the starting point of Java program? Main method. Starting point is main method. Is it the first one to get executed in your entire code? Is it the first one to get executed? And now tell me, guys, what is the control flow? What is the output on your screen? What is the output on your screen? Answer me one question, everyone. There are mixture of answers. I'm getting both answers. Answer me one thing. Wherever main method is present, this is also inside some class. Main method is also present inside the class. Answer me this part. Is main method present inside the class? Yes, it is present. Yes, it is present. Wonderful answers. Thank you so much for your response. That means main method class also gets loaded into JVM. During class loading, what happens during class loading? What happens during class loading? Memory for static variable, default value will be given. Static block gets executed. Then JVM will call this. JVM will invoke this. That time this will be executed. So with that context, what is the flow of execution? If that is the case, what is the flow of execution right now? What is the flow of the execution? Without memories, guys, without memories, will you be able to understand why this is happening? Understanding the memory in Java is the most crucial thing. Is that clear to everyone present in the class? All of you? Great, great. Wonderful answers from all of you. Let me proceed ahead. Okay, let me proceed ahead. But however, lot of code is present here. I'll do one thing. I will take it. I will create a new class so that it is not messed up so much in one class. I will go and create a new class. I will say here, launch static 2. Launch static 2. Java is ocean. I am keeping in mind 2 months or 2 months, 15 days, I should complete everything. If not, I can teach Java only for 6 months. I have thought that also earlier. Only Java for 6 months. I have done the postmortem of entire Java for many of the batches. Okay. But I'm keeping in mind whatever to be called as a good Java developer, whatever is to be called to clear any interviews to use Java in real time, that I am covering enough. But still, can we learn for 6 months or 8 months? There is no end. Okay, now? Class, I'll say here demo 2. Inside this class, I will add this code. Fine, now? All of you? No issues? My dear friends, just tell me, we have static elements right now. How they will get executed, all of you know. Most importantly, we also have instance variable right now. Okay. Instance variable. I'll go back further. I will write one block. Here also we wrote the block, but at the starting of the block, we wrote one keyword called as static. Right now I'm writing a block. Did I write any keyword here? Did I write any keyword? we have never come across. By just writing two brackets also, can we write the code in Java? Yes, we can do that. Yes, we can do that. It is called as Java initialization block. I'm going to do one thing here. I'll say here x equals to 44, y equals to 45, y equals to 45, z equals to 46. Okay, we never come across. We just open and we can write the code. Yes. After which I will write the constructor. I will write demo2, same name as that of the class name. Inside this, maybe I will just print system.out.println. I will say here constructor. Constructor will be executed during the object creation. All of you done or okay with it? Yes, no, maybe. Java initialization block. Java init means, don't read it as init. Init means initialization. Shortcut I'm writing, nothing technical here. Java initialization block. Fine now. I'll go back here. After which I will write one method, void display to. Display to. I will say here system.out. Guys, static variables can I access inside the non-static method? Static variables. Guys, static variables gets life at the beginning only, no? At the beginning only, no? During the class loading itself. So I can access anywhere I want. I will say system.out.println x. I will say here x, similar to system.out.println y. I will say here y. With focus, you have to understand, guys. If someone listening to this without a focus, can they understand? Impossible. If someone is understanding with the focus, the most easiest part. Please, those who are understanding with focus, tell me one thing, my dear friends. Is it something very complex I've discussed so far? Any rocket science? Did we discuss a formula to launch a rocket on Mars? Nothing, right? It's not rocket science. It is easiest thing. Okay, guys. Right now, I have all the components in my program. Memory, we will understand of this. Instance, static variable, we have. Instance variable. Okay, I'll go back here. I will say demo. Guys, in main method is the starting point of the application. All of you agree on this? Main method is the starting point of the application. JVM will start execution from a class where main method is present. Agree? Suppose in this class, I will not use name of demo to anywhere. Do you think static members of demo2 class will get executed? In the main class, anywhere did I use the name of the demo2? In the main class, anywhere did I use the name of demo2? Anywhere? I will go and execute. Anything have you got on your screen now? Do you have anything on your screen? On your console? Nothing. You have to use the name of demo here. Then only, oh, demo2 class is also there. In order to execute the further things about the demo class will get loaded. During the loading only, the other things will get executed. Is that clear to everyone? All of you. Guys, if I don't give the demo here, anywhere JVM, did I give the file name as demo here anywhere? Demo, did I give file name? When JVM is initializing from the main method, nowhere demo2 is there. Is JVM aware that there is a class called as demo2? Is JVM aware of it? No. How it will allocate? How it will load? I hope you are understanding everything. I will say a display. After which I'll create the object of demo2 type d2 equals to new demo2. Instance is ready. After which I'll say here d2 dot I'll say. Okay, d2 dot I will call display2. Great, guys. Let's understand this. This is very, very crucial part. I want everyone to master it. Okay. If class name was demo2, then it will execute. If the class name is demo2, if you have given the file name, first of all, you cannot even give Vaibhav. You should give the file name where main method is present. If there are any static members here, that will get executed. If it is there in some other class, that class name somewhere you have to take here. If not, that will not be loaded. Understanding? Vaibhav? Why? Can we give any class name in order to save, guys, other than main method? No. At the beginning of the lectures only I have told that. Let me take this everything. Let's understand our memory maps. And one by one, I will discuss the significance of them. I'll go back. This is our Java code, guys. Can I go with respect to memory map? All of you, will you support me? If I go with memory map, will you guys support me? Great. Two important areas I will consider: stack area, and also we have something called as heap area. Keep JVM's architecture into mind. JVM will start the execution. I will repeat in different examples, same examples I'm not going to repeat. You have to watch the lecture again because it is a recorded lecture. Okay. Listen to me with utmost focus for the next 10 minutes. The matter will be close to everyone. Then we'll understand why we have static blocker. What is the difference between static method, static blocker? What is the purpose? Why what? We'll understand. Control flow understand for the last time. JVM has been given the name of this launch static 2 class. JVM will load launch static 2 class into JVM's ecosystem. Point 1. Clear to everyone? JVM will first load launch static 2 class. Now inside the launch static 2 class, are there any static variable static block? Are there any static variable static block? People who are telling yes, on your screen there is a red button. Inside the red button, it is written like this. Can you click that? Are there any static variables inside this class, guys? Launch static 2. Are there any static variables, sir? Are there any static block present? People who are telling yes, tell me your home address. I will send you the glasses of the point you want. It's sponsored by me. On a lighter note. Now, are there any more? No. So will there be any memory allocation for static variables and static block? No. JVM will then call main method. Now tell me, my dear friends, main method must and should be static. Agree? Now tell me one thing. If a method is static, if the method is static, is there any need to create object in order to invoke that method? Is there any need to create? JVM is a busy guy. If you don't make it static, JVM, we don't have time to create the object and then call the method. Class name given, no, class name dot go inside, call the method. So only main method is always static because JVM is going to call that. Understanding? Yep. Now JVM will call the main method. Of course, on your stack area, main method stack frame will be created. Main method stack frame will be there. Then you are telling on your stack area, of course, runtime stack area, what will be there? Main method will be there. First line of main method when thread is executing. The first line, demo2 dot display you're calling. In order to invoke display, demo2 is involved. That means JVM first has to load demo2 on its ecosystem. Yes. Now during class loading of demo2, During the class loading in demo 2, are there any static variables? On your heap area, for those variables, memory will be allocated A, B, C. JVM will allocate the default values. JVM will allocate the default values. 0, why? Because it is of integer type. So only 0. After which, is there any static block? Is there any class static block? So static block gets executed. Static blocks stack also gets created. Okay. It will get executed. You get on your screen static init block. A is given 10. B is given 20. C is given 30. All this is happening during the class loading itself. Agree? Yes, no, maybe? Great. Then you're calling the display method. After this class is loaded, display method is called. Display method stack, of course, will get created here. Then what happens? Whatever is there on your display method on your monitor screen, that will be printed. A value, B value, C value. So here it is tick mark, guys. Further goes, you're creating the object equal to operator means first right side. You're creating the instance of demo 2. On your heap area, memory for demo 2 object will be created. Inside the demo 2, memory for instance variables should get created. Are there any instance variable, guys, which are non-static? Memory for X, Y, Z will be created. 0, 0, 0. And then there is a call to a constructor. Is it a call to parameterize constructor or zero parameterize? Zero parameterize. Do we have zero parameterized constructor? My dear friends, before actually executes the body of constructor, whenever you call a constructor, before executing actual body, the first thing to get executed is the Java initialization block. Non-static block, Java initialization block. And inside Java initialization block, you're giving X45, Y45, Z, 46, 44, 45, 46. And you're printing one message Java initialization block. After printing, control comes back to wherever it has come from. Then the body of constructor will be executed. After executing the body of the constructor, control will go back. You're creating the reference. Then you're calling the display method. Then the display method gets called, which is here. Then the display method gets called. You're calling display method gets called then. As a part of multi-threading, is there any no delay in the thread when you use no delay? That will not have any impact on the threads, Aditya. All of you? Just answer me one thing, my dear friends. Just answer me. If there is an interview question to you, when does Java initialization block gets executed? What is your answer on that? During the object creation, before constructor execution. During object creation, while object creation, before constructor. You see this? During object creation, before construction execution. Yes, no, maybe. So if there is a static block and constructor, which body gets executed first? If there is a static, if there is a Java block and constructor, if there is a Java initialization block and constructor, Java initialization block. All of you present in the class? Yes, no, maybe. Guys, display method which is static. To invoke display method, should I create object? Should I create object? To call display to method which is non-static, is object creation must? Whatever I say, is this the control flow of this? Let's execute this program and understand. Right click, run as Java application. I want you to understand this, guys. Kindly see, guys. Java initialization block, static method, static initialization block, static method, Java initialization block, constructor, non-static method. Is that clear to everyone present in the class? Yes, no, everyone? All of you? Any confusion to anyone in the class? Anyone has any confusion? One more interview question which I may ask. Answer me one thing, dear friends. Is there anything which gets executed even before main method in your Java code? Static block. You have to say your answer should be yes if there is a static block. Yes if there is a static block inside the main method class. Yes if there is a static block inside main method class. That will get executed. Fine, now? That is your answer. Great. One last part I want to execute here. One last part. I will create one more instance. I will create one more instance. I will create one more instance. D3. D3. Okay. D3, D3. I will say here system.out.println. I will say here non-static method. Non-static method. Understand this and I want you to answer. This is interview ask question which I am discussing to you. It is interview ask question which I am discussing right now. Non-static method, non-static method 2 times got executed. All of you agree with this? Everyone? Whereas static block only once. Whereas static block only once. Have you seen that? Yes, no? Dear friends, when you created new object, on your heap area, one more new object got created. For that also memory allocated. For this D3 is referring. For this D2 is referring. All of you? With that point, instance variable. I'll say 3 points. You have to say, is this your understanding correct or not? Point number 1, which I would like to say here is, instance variable will get memory whenever we instantiate a class or whenever we create a object on the heap area inside the instance, inside the object, correct? If we create object, only then the memory will be. Correct? If we create object 10 times for instance variable, how many times memory will be allocated? If I create 100 times, how many times memory for instance variable? Static variable, my dear friends. Static variable. Once. Now answer me, my dear friends. Answer me one thing. Inside the display, I'm using A, B, C. A, B, C. Are they static or non-static? Static. I'm using it. Now, guys, I'm calling display2 method using the D2 reference. I'm calling the display2 method using the D2 reference. Fine. Can I say same copy of data is used for all the objects of a class? All the objects, same copy. So these static variables, whatever we have created, can also be called as class variables. What we also call it as class. Are they dependent on object, guys? Are they attached to object? They are for class. common copy of data for all objects of a class. One application also I will show to you. Find to all present in the class. Yes, no, maybe. Everyone. Any issues to anyone here? All of you could able to understand this? Yes. Can I go ahead, guys? I will show you many applications of each of them. But whatever I say, just keep on acknowledge and keep on going. Okay, now? Great, wonderful. Last example for the day. And the part 2 discussion, which is the most crucial discussion, I will discuss in tomorrow's class. Don't miss it. Especially those who are passed of today's class, they must be there in tomorrow's class. Day after tomorrow's class, I may have to start with the inheritance concept. Day after tomorrow's class is inheritance. Okay. Inheritance, polymorphism, abstraction, association, was dependence injection, interfaces. All of them will happen at once. Very, very crucial. The upcoming 2 weeks are there, no? They are the most crucial weeks for your entire no, upcoming classes. Okay. They are must classes for all of you. I'll go here and discuss launch static free. If I don't call static method with the class name, does static block executes? No. Static block gets executed, not the static method. But somewhere you have to use the class name reference, maybe to create the object, or some class should be there in the main method. If you are not using the class name in the main method anywhere, then it will not be executed. Maybe during you creating the object, some reference of the class name must be there, Vasu. If the class name is not there, it will not be executed. Because class loading should happen to execute that. Class loading means JVM should be aware that there is a class called as demo. Kindly understand this. Last example for the day, guys. Quickly, I will complete this. Last example, then I will take up all of your questions. Okay. If there are any questions which is in my plan of tomorrow's class, that I will skip because I have to discuss many things. But whatever you have discussed, if there are questions around that, I will answer all of your questions. I'll say here quickly, guys. Last example for the day. Understand this class. Maybe student. Kindly please see to it, guys, very quickly. Okay. Every one of you present the class. I will say here integer type of ID, string type of name, and string type of city. Guys, whenever there is a class, can I create 100 objects of a same class? Can I create 100 objects of a same class? I can, right? No problem in that. Not an issue. It is zero parameterized construct. I'll go back. Of course, I have to make every variable private. That's all fine. I will create one more constructor. I want you to understand this. I will say here, integer type of ID. Answer me one thing, guys. Answer me one thing. Right now, based on your understanding, creating instance variable is good or creating static variable is good based on your understanding? Dhanyavad. Now for that mixture of answers, I want you to see here. Please see very carefully. Everyone present the class. I will say here this dot ID equals to ID. Oh, see here. This dot name equals to name. This dot city equals to city. Okay, now after which I will just make use of maybe, or let it be safe. Guys, the requirement is of this application. I want to count How many objects are getting created for this class? I want to create. Answer me one thing. If there are 2 or 10 or 100 students, will all the students will have same ID, same name, and same city? So can I make those variables static? Common copy for all the objects of a class? Can I make them static? Common data for all? What is your answer? Illogical. If I make them instance variable, for every instance, different name, right? Example, if I say here, student type st1 equals to new student, I will assign the value ID number 1. I will say here Rohan. Okay, Rohan. I will say here Bengaluru. I will go here. After which I will create one more instance. I'll give the instance name 2. I will give ID 2. I will give Rohit. I will give Mumbai. I will go back here. I will create one more instance. I will see number 3. I will see maybe Ramesh. I will give ID number 3. I will give here Chennai. Now, my dear friends, answer me one part here. Every one of you present the class. For instance variable, how many times the memory will be allocated in this case? How many times the memory will be allocated? 3 times. Now, all 3 objects will have same data or different data. So, in this regard, making instance variable is good or making static variable is good? Instance variable. Okay. The requirement is I want to count how many objects are created. How many objects are created in order to count? I will create one variable by the name int count. Just a variable name. Just a variable name. Count. How many of them? Guys, whenever you create an instance, constructor is getting called, right? Constructor getting called. So inside every constructor, can I keep it count plus plus? Can I keep count plus plus? Whenever you create an instance, great. Keep this program in mind. I will go here and print after printing this system.out.println, system.out. What do you say? Println. Okay, 1 second, guys. System.out.println. I will print it. I will print the value of count. I will say here number of objects created space plus I will say count. Let me see how many of you can answer this. Okay, now count means, of course, I have to use st1.count because it is a variable of student class. I will go and say here st2.count. I will go and say here st3.count. Three advantages I'm telling in one program. Lot of clarity in the same application I'm trying to give. Okay, I'll go here and run this application. Guys, number of objects created 1, 1, 1. All 3 I'm getting 1, 1, 1. Can anyone in the class answer me this? Why? Anyone in the class who can answer me why? Sai Teja, right answer. Each for different right answer. My dear friends, is count static variable or instance variable? Is static variable or instance variable? Instance. So there is a separate count inside the student, too. So it is 1, 1. Now tell me, my dear friends, can I make it static? Common copy for all the objects of a class? Now, will there be memory inside? So now, my dear friends, I am invoking an object. Constructor is invoked, count plus plus, count value will be increased. Now for this, memory is there inside the object or memory is there inside the heap? Memory is there inside the object or heap? Outside the object, within the heap, correct? Now, will I get a proper answer right now? Will I get the proper answer? And it's a static variable. Do I need to use a reference or I can use class name? Reference is there or class name is sufficient? Class name is sufficient. Will I get a proper count right now? Will I get a proper count? Yes, no, maybe. So, dear friends, answer me one thing. In the one example I told you, right? Application between instance variable and static variable. Whenever a common copy of data has to be shared among all the objects of a class, if there is something common data, common for all the objects of a class, will you go with instance variable or static variable? Understanding everyone? All of you present in the class? But whenever there is a data different for different instance, will you go with static variable? Now, dear friends, in the constructor, if I don't write count plus plus, whenever you create an object, will there be increment of the object created? You have to write, right? What if I have 100 constructors? In the 99 constructors, I have included count plus plus. In one constructor, I forgot to include. Will I get a proper count of the objects? Will I get the proper count of the objects? Answer me one thing. Is there anything which gets executed before every constructor call in Java? Whenever you call a constructor, before that, is there anything which gets executed? Which is that thing? Is it static block or is it static block or Java? Every time you call a constructor, before executing the body of constructor, what gets executed, guys? Every time we call a constructor, before the body of constructor, what gets executed? Instance block. Java initialization block, Java instance block, different names. Java block, non-static block. Now, guys, if there is a code which is common for all the constructors, if there are 10 constructors, if there is a code which is common for all the constructor, which block it comes into picture? Static block people are telling, hey, hey. Constructor object dependent, constructor object dependent, guys? Yes or no? Is constructor object dependent? If you don't create object, will there be execution of constructor? I am telling you, if there is a common code for all the constructors, so I am talking about which is associated with object, right? Now people are answering static block. Is static block anywhere associated with object? Is static block associated with object? So which block will get executed before the body of constructor? I have told you today's class. What is that will get executed before the body of constructor? Java block. Without calling. Whenever you call a constructor, before executing the actual body, Java block gets executed. Then the body of constructor will be executed. So if there is any code which you may have to write inside every constructor, instead of you repeating that code, maybe there is a common code which you want to write in all 10 constructors. Will you write that 10 times or will you write once in the static block, in the Java block? Will you write that 10 times or once in the Java block? Once in Java block. Those who are listening to me, is the matrix close?
I know a lot of things we have discussed in today's class with respect to coding also. It's too much of understanding, but I hope these are very, very crucial and important for your understanding. Not because of class loader, because of object creation. Sushma, initialization, Java initialization block will get executed whenever you create an object. Before the body of constructor, first the call will go to Java block and then the body of constructor will be executed. Fine now? That's the control flow. Is that clear to everyone, guys? Now, guys, have you understood when to use static variable, when not to use? Will you use static variable everywhere? Is Java, what is that? Is Java block default? No, 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 not default constructor, Jyotirendra. It's not default constructor. We can also make a zero constructor static. No, you cannot make constructor only static. Constructor cannot be static. People who are telling constructor is static. One punishment for you. The punishment is reverse the entire Java from the scratch. Today's lecture from the scratch in minus 0.5 speed, not 1.5x speed. Guys, I have been shouting from the beginning. Constructor, when constructor will be invoked? When constructor will be invoked? Can I make constructor static? So, can I make zero parameterized constructor static? Legal question, illegal question. People are telling, come give your address, yeah. I'll come and teach you Java in your home. Is that fine? You can ask that. There is no problem. Just because I'm telling this, don't stop asking. Ask. I know what you'll ask. But if you listen, these questions will not come, is what I'm trying to say. That's it. You ask your questions. You ask why this is there in today's class. I will answer. I don't mind. That too, I've discussed this. But why semicolon? Please tell me. I will tell again. I don't mind. Okay. But whatever I say in the class, take it on a lighter note. As a friend, lighter note. Okay. Don't take professor level note. Then it will be gone case. No, not like global variables. You cannot say. Okay. Usama, where do you stay? Which city? Pakistan. Okay. I will not get visa only. I'm in Bangalore. You be there only. One on one, that to Pakistan I have to go, it seems. Okay. In constructor, the first line will execute super method. Right, correct. 100% right, Chaman. Very good question. I was expecting this. Now I am learning Java in it block. Little confused here. Now, constructor, the question is super method is there here also. I am telling before the body. Now the question is it after super method call or before super method call? I will show you that once I discuss super method call significance, constructor execution in case of inheritance. But one thing for now, Chavan, before the body of constructor, what gets executed? What gets executed? Java initialization block. But is it before super method call or after super method call? That I will show you in the constructor execution in case of inheritance. Fine now? Okay now? Okay. Great, guys. Okay, I'll summarize today's class and just acknowledge is your understanding matching or not. I'll summarize today's class. When count is instance every time, yes, you are right, Ankita, because it is there inside the instance. No, that is specific to that particular instance. But static variable means common for all. It is there one time. Guys, during the class loading, memory for static variable will be allocated and default value will be given on the heap area. Yes or no? During the class loading, static initialization block also gets executed. Yes. Static components, they are not object dependent. We can call them with a reference variable also. We can invoke them during with the class name also. Whenever we create an object, constructor is called. Every time constructor is called, before the body of constructor, it is Java initialization block which gets executed. Whenever there is a common code which we may have to include in all the constructors, we can keep this inside the Java initialization block. As whenever we call a constructor, before the body of the constructor, it is Java initialization block which gets executed. Instance variable memory will be allocated whenever we create instance, whenever we create object. If we don't create object, if we don't instantiate class, there is no life for instance variable. If we create 10 instances of a class, 10 objects of a class, memory for instance variable will be allocated for 10 times. 100 means 100 times. Static variable memory will be allocated only once at the time of class loading on the heap area. Whenever there is a common copy for all the objects of a class, then we go with static variable. Static variables are also called as class variables. Whenever data will differ for different objects, different instance, we cannot make use of static variables. Only when we have a common data for all the objects, then we can go with static variables. Inside the main method class, if there is a static block, that gets executed even before main method. I know so much we have understood, but I hope it is picturized now. You got the summary of everything. If you are acknowledged, everyone present the class. Are you ready for part 2 discussion of the static, guys, in tomorrow's class? Are you ready for part 2 discussion? That's all, guys. 9 minutes late, I had started the class. So 9 minutes I have taken, 8:39. Now I would like to conclude the class. Allow me 2 minutes of time. In 2 minutes, I will share you in the chat. After 2 minutes of time, you can ask me questions. I am open for questions, silly questions, technical questions, non-technical questions, inky ponky donkey questions also open to me. I'm ready to answer them. Now, allow me just 2 minutes of time while I share you. I'm open for questions. Thank you so much for being with me in today's class. We'll meet again tomorrow exactly at 7 a.m. and continue the interesting journey of static variable. I hope the topic is very, very interesting for those who are listening. Thank you so much, guys, for being with me in today's class. Thank you so much, every one of you. Let me just share these files with all of you. Static keyword class 1, 27th August. All right, guys, I'm open for the questions. Anyone have any questions, please let me know. Thank you for your support throughout the class. And also, guys, in between the class, whenever I say leave the meeting or something, all of that on a lighter note and a friendly note, okay? I hope all of you are mature enough for this, okay? J and I is to use in order to execute a non-Java code, which is there in the Java native stack, Rupan. In the Java native stack, in your Java code, sometimes you may have to use code which is written in C or C++ language. If you want to execute that, then Java interpreter and gesture and compiler cannot be used. So JNI will have a library in order to execute that type of codes, okay, which is a part of Java native stack code. JDK we have already taught, but I will recall Java Development Kit. It is a kit which is required for the execution of Java code, which consists of Java compiler, JRE, and JVM inside the JRE. It's a consist of all three things within one place. It's the entire kit. Like the way for cricket, we have a cricket kit, which consists of helmets, bat, pads, dress, everything. Similar to that, in order to execute the Java, we have Java Development Kit, which has Java compiler, all the Java libraries, the predefined Java classes, rt.jar file we call. That is predefined classes string, all the code which Java team has coded for us, scanner class and everything is present. And then we have a JRE. Inside the JRE, JVM is there in order to execute the Java program. So this Java development kit consists of everything which is required to write code and execute Java program. Static keyword, more on static keyword, Vasu. Part 2 of static keyword. If the static, okay. Sure, Raghavendra, please make sure you watch it. And if there is any doubt, no, point out the doubt. Whenever you point out the point of deviation, it is able to come back. Like what is that point because of which you got deviated, you got confused. That point, if you identify, you are a winner. If static block and Java instance block, which will be run first? Static block. Java instance block will execute during the constructor call, Osama. During the constructor call. Constructor when you create the object. But for object, for the static block, do you need to create object? No. Vasup says A, B extend A equal to B. If both classes have init and static block, which one will get executed? Very good question asked. Same we will discuss during the inheritance, Vasup. Okay. Very good question that is. From day after tomorrow, we are going to start that. Same thing we'll discuss. Okay. It's a part of my discussion in inheritance concept. Static and inheritance, constructor and inheritance, those things we will discuss. Very good question. But however, for that, what happens? First of all, constructor gets inherited or not, all these things you need to understand. That will happen in the inheritance classes. That's a part of my discussion from day after tomorrow. Anyone would like to talk to me, please let me know in the chat. Yeah, bye, sure, definitely you can talk. Just raise a hand. Sure, Osama. Okay. Yeah, bye, you can, Vaibhav, you can talk to me.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Vaibhav.
Sir, my question is that if we create a static block
Yes.
and if we are not calling it with class name in main method, then it will not execute?
It will not execute. In order to execute, class has to be loaded. In order to load the class, JVM should be aware that there is a class by the name demo or whatever class where static block is present.
Okay, so if let's say if we do not create any demo class, we only create a launch static class. Okay, and here only I'm executing
Then it will
creating
get
a static
executed.
method. Then it
This
will
will get
execute.
executed. Yes, yes.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Thanks.
No question is silly, Vasu. Remember that. During the class, I say, okay, you don't think of anything. I am the one who will entertain more silly questions than the actual logical questions. So don't worry on anything silly or wrong. Okay. So much you have written there. Let me read that. Maybe silly question. If we can initialize the static variables while declaring any specific use case of using static block, nothing as such. If example, there is a use case. If you want something to get executed during the class loading itself, example, you are connecting to database in order to perform the DB related operations. You want database to be connected with your Java application the moment class is loaded, even before you create any object. Then the database connection part you can write inside a static block. Anything and everything which you want to be executed the moment class is loaded, all that code can be kept inside this static block. All right, requesting a suggestion from you as well, well-wishers. I have done my graduation BSc Computer 2017. Well, due to some reasons, furtherly I did not continue my studies and started working in a different non-IT technical. In 2023, I got opportunity in IT company due to my friend reference, but the shoe was right. Now I am on bench period, participating in non-technical jobs from past 1 year. Right now, I'm pursuing MCA in distance mode. I hope this course will help to fill me, and I joined as a working track. I shall continue or this the IT industry. There is a track chance in the IT industry for you. Focus on skilling. At the end of the day, in IT, only one thing is respected, which is skill. The more you're skilled, the more you're confident, then you will have a chance. Maybe there is a difficulty, but if you say that you really know Spring Boot properly, you really know skills which is required to be part of development team, you will be respected. Suppose if there's someone referred you, someone gave you chance, but what will you do if you don't have skills? Like how can they give you a job which is related to IT without any skills? So if you're skilled, difficulty is there, but chances are high to get you a chance. But for that, first part is your focus should be on skilling yourself. At the end of the day, it is skills which is matters. And definitely this course has all the skills provided. You are consistent till the end of the course and you are learning from the scratch. If you are part of this batch from the new, then watch all the videos which you have already covered. This is the 11th class, 11th or 12th class, sorry. This is the 12th class. Okay. So complete the classes and make sure you are aligned to it. No, it is not a part of any hope pillar, Osama. No problem, dear. There is no problem. Tomorrow's topic, part 2 of static keyword. Part 2 of static keyword. Any more things to be discussed, dear friends? Please let me know. Sure, Osama. Thank you so much, guys, for being with me in today's class. It was wonderful and interactive session again. Let's make upcoming classes also interactive and wonderful with your cooperation. Let's meet again tomorrow exactly 7 a.m. Indian Standard Time and continue the discussion on the topic of static keyword. Thank you so much for being with me in today's class. Thank you so much, every one of you. Thank you all.